My name is James and welcome to Tir Founder Fields, Cwmbach in Aberdare. The site is designated an SINC, a site of importance for nature conservation. It is 32 acres of mixed habitat, previously farmed for possibly several millennia. Over the last 30 years it has become neglected and has become colonised by nature. I'm now going to give you a short tour of the different habitats here. And here you see what is typical of what has happened to the former pasture land on the site. It has become flooded via the River Canal and colonised by reedmace, reeds and sedges, and quite a lot of poisonous hemlock water dropwort. The areas of grassland that have not flooded have reverted to scrubland, with blackberry, hemlock water dropwort again, and various grasses of different type, and scrubland, mainly willow and alder. And here we have the main floodplain. It is the deepest and largest pond on the site. I think it goes down to about 2 to 3 foot. There's also a quarter of a mile of hedgerows which run along the former towpath for the mine carts for the coal mine, and typically includes ash and hawthorn. Opposite the main pond and towpath is the building site. It is situated on a former tip and raised about 2 to 3 metres. They have encircled the site with a drainage canal, which ironically has become important for dragonflies, and they've also seeded the bank with wildflowers, which has become important for butterflies and moths. Opposite the building site is an area of scrubland, formerly a tip. Classed as industrial land, they'll probably build on it, but at the moment it's an important habitat for grass snakes. The discharge canal runs past the scrubland and building site and into the lower floodplains. The lower floodplain is similar to the top floodplain in that it consists of a mixture of habitats of reedmace scrub grassland with a stream running through it. It is much lower than the top site and therefore floods frequently and usually inaccessible. To the left of the main pond we have several acres of reedmace, which is important habitat for sedge warbler and reed warbler, and also reed bunting. At the end of the towpath we come to the River Canal, relatively slow running, but in its temper it can reach the height of this bridge. It is an important habitat for grey wagtail, pied wagtail, kingfisher dipper and goosander. And from the bridge we have a footpath leading along a woodland corridor. You won't see much woodland at the moment because this bit of the site is infested with Japanese knotweed. My aim is to control it by hand over the next 3 years. And we're continuing along the woodland corridor alongside the river. Here we will typically find chiffchaff, willow warbler, blackcap, whitethroat, and many other woodland birds. Now we're looking over towards the main pond. Here in front of us you can see the back pond. It is similar in size and depth, and where the family of greylag geese hide, which I cannot show you today. They have bred for the first time this year. We have a family of 14. Maybe I'll show you a picture following this. And here we are close to the river, an excellent spot for spotting the dipper and kingfisher. I believe there it is stocked with salmon and trout. We're taking a detour from the woodland path for a moment to show you the extent of the reedmace. This then merges into wet meadow. As I said, it was former farmland, and over there you can see the remains of a hedge which used to run through the site and now is bogged down. And on this wet meadow we will find the only orchid I have found growing on the site, the early purple. And here we are at the top of Tŷ Founder at a site known as the Wall, popular with fishermen, where the wet meadow merges into dry grassland. Here is typically found the grasshopper warbler. They only sing between May and June. I have not seen them or heard them since. It is topped by an ash copse where the oldest living resident of the site lives. We're in the ash copse with the mother tree of all ashes. It is possibly 150 to 200 years old. A grand specimen and no sign of ash dieback. Now we pass through the ash copse and onto the playing fields. Still an important site for gulls, swifts and swallows. To the north of the site we have the restored Aberdare Canal, apparently designated a nature reserve. Along it runs the National Cycle Path 478. The canal is regularly dredged and contains plantains and mallards. So that concludes my tour of Tŷ Founder. I hope you enjoyed it. This is my personal nature conservation project for a few years. As you can see, it is a very varied and mixed site of habitats and very important for migrating birds and others. Possibly the most important site in the Canal Valley and should be designated a nature reserve. But that decision is in the hands of the councillors, but we vote for them, so we tell them what to do.